Breaking news is spreading fast across America, and if you're counting on your Social Security check this month, you need to hear this right now. With the federal government shutdown that started October 1st, 2025, thousands of people are panicking about whether their benefits will arrive on time. The confusion is real, and the stakes couldn't be higher when you're depending on that money for rent, groceries, and medication. Here's what's actually happening with your SSA retirement benefits, your SSI payments, and your SSDI checks this October. The Social Security Administration has confirmed that all payments to current beneficiaries will continue with no change in payment dates during the shutdown. Yes, you read that correctly. Your money is coming. But there's more to this story that directly affects you. While your payments are protected, local Social Security offices are operating with reduced services, which means if you need help with certain requests, you might face delays. Plus, there's critical information about payment schedules and service limitations that every beneficiary must understand to avoid problems. Stick with me for the next few minutes because I'm breaking down exactly what you can and cannot do right now, which services are unavailable, and the smartest steps to take to protect your benefits during this uncertain time. Now let me take a deep breath here, because I know your heart just skipped a beat when you saw those headlines about delays and shutdowns. I get it. When you've worked your entire life, and you're depending on that Social Security check to cover your basic needs, any hint of trouble sends waves of anxiety through your whole body. So let me walk you through exactly what's happening right now in October 2025. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you're going to feel a whole lot better and a whole lot more informed than you did 5 minutes ago. First things first, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, the federal government entered a shutdown on October 1st, 2025, after Congress failed to reach a funding agreement. Now, when most people hear government shutdown, they immediately think the worst. They imagine their checks disappearing into thin air, their bank accounts staying empty, and bills piling up with no way to pay them. But here's the truth that you need to understand deep in your bones. Social Security payments are considered mandatory spending, which means they continue regardless of what's happening with the government shutdown. Your retirement benefits, your disability payments, your survivor benefits, they're all protected. The money is coming, and it's coming on time. Let me explain why this is so important, and why you can actually sleep at night despite all the chaos you're hearing about on the news. Social Security isn't like other government programs that depend on annual appropriations from Congress. It operates from its own trust fund, which has been collecting payroll taxes from workers for decades. That money sits there specifically to pay benefits to people like you who've earned them through years of hard work. The government shutdown affects discretionary spending, things that Congress has to approve every year. But Social Security benefits aren't discretionary. They're a legal obligation, and the Social Security Administration has the authority and the funding to keep sending out those checks, no matter what's happening in Washington. Now, you might be wondering about the specific dates, because let's be honest, when you're budgeting on a fixed income, timing is everything. Most Social Security recipients will receive their October 2025 payments according to the standard schedule, and that schedule is based on your date of birth and when you started receiving benefits. If you were born between the 1st and the 10th of any month, your payment arrives on the second Wednesday of the month. If you were born between the 11th and the 20th, you get paid on the third Wednesday. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st, your money comes on the fourth Wednesday. However, if you started receiving Social Security before May 1997, or if you're getting both Social Security and SSI, your Social Security payment comes on the third of the month. But here's where things get interesting, and this is something that catches a lot of people off guard every single year. SSI recipients actually get two payments in October, one on October 1st, and another on October 31st. Now before you get too excited and think you hit the lottery, let me explain what's really happening here. That October 31st payment is actually your November payment being sent early because November 1st falls on a weekend, and the Social Security Administration always sends payments early when the scheduled date falls on a weekend or federal holiday. This means you won't get another SSI payment until December. So you need to budget that October 31st payment to last you through the entire month of November. I can't tell you how many people get caught off guard by this and end up struggling halfway through November because they spent that early payment too quickly. Now, while your payments are absolutely secure and coming on time, there's another part of this story that you need to understand because it might affect you in different ways. The Social Security Administration's local offices are remaining open during the shutdown, but they're operating with significantly reduced services. This is where things get a little complicated, and you need to pay attention because it could impact you if you need help with certain issues. Out of more than 51,000 Social Security employees, about 6,000 are being furloughed, which means they're temporarily out of work until the shutdown ends. That's a significant chunk of the workforce, and it's going to create some real bottlenecks in the system. Let me break down what you can and cannot do right now at your local Social Security office, because this is crucial information that could save you a wasted trip and a lot of frustration. During the shutdown, you can still apply for benefits, request an appeal, change your address or direct deposit information, report a death, verify or change your citizenship status, replace a lost or missing Social Security payment, obtain a critical payment, change a representative payee, make changes to your living arrangement or income if you're an SSI recipient, and obtain a new or replacement Social Security card. These are considered essential services, and they're going to continue no matter what. But here's what you cannot do right now, and this is where people are running into problems. The Social Security Administration cannot provide proof of benefits letters, and they cannot update or correct earnings records during the shutdown. Now, if you need a proof of benefits letter, maybe you're applying for housing assistance, or you need to prove your income for a loan, or you're dealing with some other situation where you need official documentation of your Social Security income, you're going to have to wait until the shutdown ends, or you can try accessing this information through your online account. That's actually the workaround that the Social Security Administration is strongly recommending right now, and I'm going to tell you more about that in just a minute, because it's genuinely one of the smartest things you can do for yourself, whether there's a shutdown or not. The earnings record issue is another big one that's flying under the radar, but it matters for a lot of people. If you noticed an error in your earnings history, maybe a year where you worked, but the earnings didn't get credited properly, or maybe you're approaching retirement, and you want to make sure everything is accurate before you apply for benefits, you're going to have to put that on hold. Processing new Social Security applications could also face delays because there are fewer workers available to handle the paperwork. So if you were planning to apply for benefits right now, you can still do it, but just be prepared for it to take longer than normal. Here's something else that's really important, and this affects everyone regardless of whether you need to visit an office or not. The Social Security Administration is really pushing people to create an online My Social Security account. And honestly, this is advice you should take seriously even when there isn't a government shutdown. With a personal My Social Security account, you can view benefit estimates, request a proof of income letter, apply for benefits, request a replacement Social Security card or Medicare card, and much more. This is the kind of thing that gives you independence and control over your own information without having to wait on hold for hours or drive to an office and sit in a waiting room. You can access your account 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from your computer or even your smartphone if you have one. Creating this account is actually pretty straightforward, and if you're not comfortable with technology, you can ask a family member or friend to help you set it up the first time. Once it's set up, you've got access to all your information right at your fingertips. You can check when your next payment is coming. You can see how much you're getting. You can download your benefit verification letter instantly instead of waiting for one in the mail. And you can even change your address or direct deposit information without having to call or visit an office. During this shutdown, when services are limited and wait times are longer than usual, having this online access is like having a VIP pass that lets you skip the line entirely. Now, I want to address something that I know is on a lot of people's minds because I've seen the questions pouring in everywhere on social media and in comment sections all across the internet. People are worried about whether this shutdown could somehow threaten the long-term stability of Social Security itself. Let me be crystal clear about this. The shutdown does not change anything about Social Security's financial status or its ability to pay benefits going forward. The concerns you might have heard about Social Security running out of money or facing financial challenges, those are separate issues that have to do with the long-term demographics of our country and the ratio of workers paying into the system versus retirees taking benefits out. Those are real discussions that policymakers need to have, but they have absolutely nothing to do with this government shutdown. This shutdown is about Congress failing to pass a spending bill for the government's annual budget. It's a political failure, not a threat to your Social Security benefits now or in the future. The reality is that Social Security has never missed a payment in its entire 90-year history, and it's not going to start now. More than 74 million Americans receive Social Security payments, and that money keeps flowing into the economy every single month like clockwork. The government knows that if those payments stopped, the economic impact would be absolutely catastrophic. We're talking about people not being able to pay their rent or mortgage, not being able to buy groceries, not being able to afford their medications. The Social Security Administration has contingency plans in place precisely because they understand how critical these payments are to the financial survival of millions of American families. What you're seeing right now with the reduced services and the furloughed workers, that's inconvenient, and it's frustrating, and it's going to cause some delays for people who need help with certain issues. But your monthly payment? That's sacrosanct. That's protected. That's going to arrive in your bank account or your mailbox on the exact day it's supposed to arrive, and you can count on that. So if you've been lying awake at night worrying about whether you're going to be able to pay your bills this month, I want you to take a deep breath and let that worry go. Your money is coming. As we move through October and potentially beyond if this shutdown drags on, the most important thing you can do is stay informed and know your rights. If you need to contact Social Security for any reason, expect longer wait times on the phone and potentially longer waits at local offices. Be patient, be prepared, and have all your information ready when you do finally get through to someone. Better yet, try to handle as much as you can online through that My Social Security account I mentioned earlier. The more people who can self-service their needs online, the easier it becomes for the reduced staff to help the people who genuinely need in-person assistance. One more thing I want to mention before we wrap up. Stay alert for scams. Unfortunately, whenever there's confusion or uncertainty about government programs, the scammers come crawling out of the woodwork. You might get phone calls from people claiming to be from Social Security, saying that your benefits are at risk because of the shutdown and you need to verify your information or pay a fee to secure your payments. These are lies. Social Security will never call you out of the blue and ask for your Social Security number or banking information. If someone does that, hang up immediately. Your payments are not at risk. You don't need to pay any fees, and you don't need to verify anything over the phone with some random caller. When in doubt, hang up and call the official Social Security Administration phone number yourself to verify whether there's actually any issue with your account. The bottom line is this: your Social Security payments are safe, they're on schedule, and they're going to arrive when they're supposed to arrive. The government shutdown is creating some headaches when it comes to accessing certain services, but it is not stopping your money from coming through. You've earned these benefits through decades of hard work, and nobody can take them away from you just because politicians in Washington can't get their act together and pass a budget on time.